Hello everybody, Brandon Bledsoe from Puget Sound Preppers again. You haven't seen me in a while, and I think that the page has grown by about 1,500 since I was last on here, but I had to move and had some things go on that I had to take some time off. But I'm back, and Rev's done a great job. You know, he ran the page before me, and I'm sure he'll continue to do so. But Rev's been doing a lot of canning, and you guys are all over it, and I see a lot of canning debate go on, and that's strange to me. But anyways, so today I'm going to do a little canning, and this is for the prepper slash smoker, and today I'm going to teach you how I dry can pipe tobacco. And you can do this just to age it or to buy in bulk and store it. And part of the reason I buy in bulk is because, like with really good tobaccos like Samuel Gawith Full Virginia Flake here, they come in 50-gram tins, and I've seen those 50-gram tins be as high as $15, but if you go to smokingpipes.com, they're $9 a piece. Well, on the flip side of that, you can get a 250-gram box that comes, you know, it's only $30. So you get 5 tins worth for the price of 3. And don't get me wrong, I love my tins. I love to see them stack up, and they come with a pretty good seal on them, so you can sell or pipe tobacco that way. But if you want to do it in bulk and get more for your money, then the box is the way to go. But the problem is, instead of a nice sealed tin, they send it all in a Ziploc bag. So to do this, the things you're going to need are an oven, some jelly-sized clean mason jars with new rings and lids, excuse me. You're going to need a scale if you want to do it the way I do it, and you're going to need at least one Ziploc bag. So when you get this bag, it's going to come, and the tobacco is going to be twice as long as it is in a tin. So I usually cut mine in half. And then I use my scale, set it to grams, and I get one of the colored Ziplocs, like green or something, so it keeps light out. And I set myself out about 60 grams of this to go ahead and just smoke on. The rest is going to go into jars. So the first thing you're going to want to do is consider how much do you intend to smoke it soon. If you're like me and you can smoke it at any time, you don't want to put the whole 200 grams into one jar. You want to be able to open one and then go to something else later after you finish that one. So we're going to do about 50 grams a jar. So set your scale to grams and go grab some things to divide this up into 50-gram bits. Okay. Alright, so once you've figured out how many jars you'll need, I suspect I'll use about 4 for this because I've already taken about 50 of my 250 grams, and I'm going to divide it up into 50s because that's about a tin's worth. You preheat your oven, caught on my door there, to 375 or 400, whichever is really good for you. And you go ahead and you stick the jars directly on the rack, lid part down, put the bottom up. And you're going to close them in the oven, and you're going to set the timer for about 10 minutes. Now the reason we do it this way is because, like, I see a lot of guys who will stick their tobacco in jars and just wrap a duct tape or something around it. That's not going to seal. These things are made to seal. You're all preppers, you know how to can, I'm sure. Well, what seals it is the heat. So the reason we're doing it this way is because we're going to get the glass really good and hot, not to the point of breaking, but just really, really hot, but it's still dry. You're going to shove the tobacco in there, and then you're going to slap the lid on, and the seal will draw itself in from the heat from the jar. And I have about 10 jars of tobacco that I jarred at January through February of last year, and I've opened a couple every now and then. Sometimes I buy pounds of tobacco and then I smoke all the jars. But this January we're going to open those jars up, and I'll show you. It's just as good as the day I put it in. So now that I found this deal on Gawith, this is really, like, it's just as economical as buying cheap tobacco in bulk. Well, not just as, but it's very close. So now you wait 10 minutes for your jars to heat up, and while we're doing that, we're going to start dividing our tobacco up into 50 grams. So you turn your scale on, make sure it's set to grams, set your little container on there, make sure to let it finish doing what it's doing, then you tear out the weight so it resets to 0, and we're just going to start dropping tobacco into bowls. There's 51, that's close enough for me. Next, set the bowl in there. That's a lot of fun. There we go. Apparently that bowl weighs less or more than the blue one. $51 again. Close enough. You can hear our son deciding that he doesn't like us to make videos. There's 52, and what's left in the bag is probably not quite 50, but it'll do. So that's our 4th jar right there. So now you have to wait on your jars to heat up. I'm going to go ahead and take this time to tell you to grab some safety implements, same as anything else. You're going to want some oven mitts. It's just like the fire videos. If you decide that you're going to reach in and grab the glass jars barehanded, you cannot sue myself, Rev, or Puget Sound Preppers. Use oven mitts. These jars are going to be hot. And I don't say this because I think all of you are going to reach in there barehanded, but there's that one guy, and he's out there. And he'll find you if you tell him to make a fire or heat up jars or anything. So now, we got about 7 more minutes on our jars. Alright, so we're going to grab one jar at a time. Excuse my kitchen, we're getting lunch ready at the same time. We're going to grab one jar at a time. We're going to sit it upright, pour the tobacco in, and set the lid on. Be careful with your hands. You don't have to work stupidly fast and mess up your tobacco. The jar is plenty hot. And like I said, at the end you may have to tap the seal to make sure it's sealed, but it will seal the jars. I just cracked one a minute ago to prove this theory. Sorry I didn't open it in front of you guys, but y'all get to see the tobacco. So you grab your lid, grab your little flexible pot holder here, put the lid on, screw it down tight, set it aside, let it cool. We'd keep doing this process. If we'd have thought ahead, we'd have told the oven to be quiet. And just so you know, like now that we've been doing this with this type of tobacco, the 50-gram jelly jar, or the jelly jar will hold about 50 grams of tobacco. Say hello to our son who is dissatisfied with us at the moment. Make sure there's not any hanging out on the edge right there to keep the seal from going. Set it aside. So as you see, I have jarred up 200 grams worth of tobacco. Now if you want, smokingpipes.com gives you a discount if you buy like 5 of those at once. I know that's pricey, but I mean, that's the more you buy, this is the best deal I've ever found, and I've smoked a lot of this. So we've jarred up 200 grams. I've got 50 in a bag for myself to smoke on, and these are going to go in the cellar, and I'm going to keep buying the tobaccos I like and doing this. Once this is cooled, I'll say again, once it has cooled, I label mine using a standard little automatic label maker. For this, the name is so long, I would abbreviate it. I would just put like SGFVF for Samuel Galloway Full Virginia Flake. And if you have a set list of brands you smoke, you'll know what it is. The most important thing is to put the date. See here, I only put the year because this happens to be Peterson's Christmas blend for the year 2013. These, I'm going to put that this is September of 2014 because these age very well. And again, once they cool, I'm going to go ahead and show you that the little button is down. The heat is sealing it, and I've cracked this jar to show you that the heat and everything does not affect the tobacco. This tobacco is still moist and still smells like the Christmas blend that it was when I bought it. I wouldn't recommend doing this with too many really heavy aromatics, the ones that are made purely for the flavor they've topped onto it, because I hear those disappear. I don't smell it here though. Like, this is still the same tobacco I bought last year. So that's how you do this, and I bet this would work for other things, coffee, beans, whatever have you. I haven't tried it yet. I may jar up some tea later and see how that goes over. But I figured with Rev doing all his canning, I'd show you how I do my canning. And I don't know what you use your tobacco for, but I like to have a good cellar of it going. I've got maybe 10, 15 tins and 10 or 15 jars so far, and I'm going to keep going. Make sure you put these jars in a cool, dark place. If you can get your hands on them, you could even use the colored jars. But I'll post this to the Gentlemen's Pipe Smoking Society as well, because I almost daily see a guy asking how to store tobacco like this. But sorry I've been gone so long. Thanks for the welcome back, and I hope everybody enjoys this video.